I wanted to look at how Black children are affected through trauma
Hmm.
and about resilience and how they come back and witnessing violence and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So my particular dissertation was the impact of violence on school achievement and behavior, violence and traumatic events
Hmm.
on school achievement and behavior of African American school children.
Hmm.
So at that time, it was one of the first in that area to be done, but I saw something in a dissertation that or a study that's being done previously.
Welcome to Surviving and Thriving, the Black Experience. Here we talk about the real adversities Black Americans face while navigating corporate spaces, educational institutions, and the justice system. We name the pressures, expose the barriers, and share strategies to help you adapt, endure, and move forward while protecting your peace. So let's get into today's discussion. Welcome back, everybody, to Surviving and Thriving the Black Experience. I am your host, CandiceRennee. Hey, everybody. And we are honored to have Dr. Theodore Thompson Jr. with us today. Hi, how are
How you
you?
doing? Hey,
Good, good,
Candace.
good. Blessed to have you here. Dr. Thompson is a clinical social worker who has worked in many different venues, including schools, hospitals, mental health settings, community services, and there's more, therapeutic school settings, the justice system, and adult services. He prides himself on his ability to reach clients wherever their heart is at. What makes his work especially meaningful is the heart behind it. Dr. Thompson's joy is rooted in his love for God, God is first,
Yeah.
his wife, his beautiful family, and our people all over the world. We are excited to hear his story, gain from his wisdom, and have the important conversation today. So please help me welcome Dr. Theodore Thompson Jr. Hello, hello, and welcome, welcome.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Good, good, good. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into this discussion. We're going to get right into these questions. So, can you share a moment in your life where adversity changed you? Like a time
Hmm.
where you had to find your footing before you even knew what was coming next?
All right. Very tough question. My goodness. I'm going to bring in a couple situations because it always happens to all of us. First one would be personal. Um, Sophomore year, I was working a summer camp, and you heard faith comes first for me. So I was working a youth camp. I was one of the college age leaders for kids. And I called back home. My mom, she was in California. I was in Colorado. I called and she sounded kind of funny on the phone. I said, "Hey, mom, what's going on?" She told me my dad at that time was outside in the driveway, putting his bags away and about to leave. Mind you, I'm the oldest of five. So I said, "What? What? How did that happen? I got to leave. I got to get out of this place and get over there and see how you're doing." This woman, this strong black woman from Mississippi said, "No, you're not. You're going to finish what you're doing." I said, "Well, I got to quit school. I got to provide for you. I mean, the family needs me." "No, you're not. You're going to finish school. Um, we're going to make it some kind of way." So she wouldn't let me leave those hundreds of thousands of miles away and come back to her in California. She told me to go back to school and finish up. And I did. And through God's grace, through her love for me and her tenacity, her strength, she worked job after job, kept food on the table, kept the house, did everything that a black woman does. And I was able to finish, and the rest is history.
Your mother carried a weight you'll never fully understand. She cried in rooms you never saw, sacrificed things that she never mentioned, prayed prayers she never told you about. She decided that your life was worth more than her comfort. Your future was worth more than her present. And that decision, that quiet, daily, uncelebrated decision, is the reason that you're standing here today. You don't know the full cost of what she paid. You weren't there the night she stayed awake worrying about something you never even knew was a problem. You didn't hear the prayer she prayed in the car on the way to work, asking God to cover you, to protect you, to keep you, when she had no other resource left but him. A mother who decides her child is worth it will move mountains without ever telling you she moved them. But most men realize too late what their mother was. Don't be that man. Tell her today.
That's one instance. Second one I'm going to bring up is, huh, during the time I was in school, and mind you, I went to the big uh, majority school, UCLA, and I was a small fish in a big pond. And during that time, you'll never believe it, I was subject to dismissal not once, but twice. I went to school
Really?
thinking I was, yes, subject to dismissal. That means if you mess up again, you out of there. So I went to school thinking, hey, I'm going to be a doctor. I always wanted to be a doctor. Well, you're up against the top five of every high school that shows up on that campus, and they grade on a curve. So my little efforts would always end the very end on the wrong side. I get my D's and my F. Everybody, you miss five questions, that's a D. So
Hmm.
I was, I flunked calculus. Calculus and me were not friends. So I had to take it again. That was one time, one strike. Next time, I said, well, shoot, I'm not giving up. God brought me this far. I can go to school. First one in our side of the family. I'm going to continue physics. Physics came along. All these other kids have had it in high school. I'm struggling for the first time, get a D out of that class. I said, well, shoot, I made it. Nope. Registrar said, subject to dismissal. You messed up again. Two strikes.
Ooh.
So I looked around and I had a few good buddies, the guys that I grew up with in the dorm. All guys dorm. We're on the no, all guys floor. The dorm was huge, about 10 stories. We're on the eighth floor. All guys on that floor. These guys supported me, walked with me, cried with me, got me through that stuff. When I passed physics, I burned that book. When I passed calculus, I tore that thing up. And those two instances, I relied on faith, relied on my village and my family. That's the only way I can make it through.
Okay.
Oh, you want to hear another one?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Another time. So, like I said, I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't know if I was going to be a medical doctor, but I was somebody's doctor. I got accepted to this PhD program. Didn't know step one about how to go through this process. Young woman, one of my best friends to this day, Jewish woman. Oh man, Sandy took me under her wing, said, hey, this is what you got to do. We're going to study together. I got mine all planned out because her dad was a professor. I said, well, I'm not that far ahead. I have no idea. Well, you'll get it. You'll get it. Help me through statistics. That was a bear for me. And then guess what? So I take these tests. They're called comprehensives. You got to take them after your first year of study. Comprehensive exams, they give you a page, maybe, of books to read, not chapters, books. You have to read all these books before you're tested on all that material. So we broke it up. Some of us read a book or chapter, whatever, and we split it all up. I get to the test. There are six areas you are tested on. And if you mess up on one, you got to take the whole thing over again. They're 3-hour tests. So I passed all these tests, and they're blue books, if you remember those, where you got to write every your answers down
Mm.
in essay form. Ooh, that was rough. 3 hours for every um, particular area. Social justice, social welfare, administration, clinical, on and on again. So we did all that. They saw my exam. They passed me. They call it provisionally. They said, well, you passed everything, but one area you're going to be provisional, you're going to have to take that area again. So I had to come back the following year, take the test again. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be a form of gatekeeping. I'm the only brother, the only person like me in that particular cohort. So I had to take it twice, comprehensive exams twice. Came back again, passed everything, and this time they could say, okay, you can move on to the next step where you start writing your chapters and getting ready to defend your dissertation. To get through that was hard,
Mm-hmm.
hard, humbling, but I had a great chair.
Mm-hmm.
She's my friend today. She's the head of social work in Indiana, a believer, and that's the only way. With that person, all the believers, the church, the body, the family, and my wife, only way I could have made it through. So adversity hits you in the face,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find a way through. Just believe, have some faith, and don't give up. Okay, three examples.
So I want to go back and say that your mom sounds absolutely amazing. The strength that it took to be in that situation, I don't even know how to describe that. Painful, sacrificing. I mean, to be in that situation and you're a son, you said a family of five, right? So
Yes,
it's like, she's like, no, there's nothing you can do here. It's going to stop you coming back here. It's going to stop you in your growth. And so she didn't want you to do that. So that the strength of a mother is amazing. You
truly
made the
amazing.
comment of a small fish in a big pond. I think that analogy really, really speaks to the heart of Black resilience to a certain extent. And then it also to me sounds like you very much were able to thrive not only just based upon like your own abilities. Yes, you have those, but you had a community around you that would not let you fail. And I think that is the biggest blessing right there is that you had people to believe in you and to know like, hey, yeah, you got a D. Yeah, this didn't work. Like, but you can still push through. You can still do this. And sometimes we do have to retake, a lot of times we got to retake when we this, of course, too.
Oh yeah,
But,
oh yeah.
but in general, it didn't stop you because there's other people who I'm not retaking nothing, choosing a whole entire another field because of one door being closed. You were
Right.
like, yeah, go ahead, open it up again. I bet you I'll walk through there.
There you go. There you go. Oh, let me tell you one addition to that.
Uh-huh.
So when I did this dissertation, I had this idea. Um, I'll give people the title later on. My goodness. I said, why invent the wheel when I can take a little piece of what's already been done? So I wanted to look at how Black children are affected through trauma
Mm-hmm.
and about resilience and how they come back and witnessing violence and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my particular dissertation was the impact of violence on school achievement and behavior, violence and traumatic events
Mm-hmm.
on school achievement and behavior of African American school children.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, it was one of the first in that area to be done, but I saw something in a dissertation that or a study that's being done previously. And one of the professors of that group was on my campus. I went to that person personally, said, hey, you guys have this large study, thousands of people. Can I look at like 100 of those people, interview some and use that as my dissertation? He said, well, go right ahead. We're going to let you do that. Come to the point where I start to research and start to write. He reneged, said, no, you can't do it. So I had to create my own study. Everything had to be redone from ground zero.
Mm.
And that added 2 more years to the time that it took to complete that dissertation. But didn't give up.
That you got it
Said, hey,
done.
there's another way to do it. So I'll find it.
That part right there, there's always another way. What they say, how that saying go? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Is that what it's is that
There
what
you
it
go.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Some of the hardest lessons in your career will never be in the handbook. They show up in silence, mixed signals, shifting expectations, and or when you're blamed for not knowing rules that nobody ever explained. Too many people walk into professional spaces thinking doing a good job is enough. But the truth, doing the job and understanding the environment are not the same thing. That's why I created Classes in Session The Real First 90 Days, a 3-part digital workbook series created to help you navigate what people should have told you from the very beginning. This workbook teaches you how to recognize what's really going on, protect yourself with strategy, communicate with more clarity, set those necessary boundaries, and most importantly, how to help you stop doubting yourself in spaces that were never designed to make things easy. And even if you didn't know that you needed this before, once you see the blueprint this workbook gives you, you'll understand exactly why it's absolutely a necessity. You can purchase each part separately or get the full bundle on my website or just click the link below. Get your copy today. Um, so tell me about so after these moments of adversity, what did you have to unlearn about yourself in order to move forward?
That's a good one. Just the thought that, hey, I'm not all that. Um, you're nobody special. You're just a child of God. Let God use you. Work through it. Be humble. Those are the things that I learned.
Was there a season where you felt misunderstood, whether that being as a Black man, as a father, or as a professional? And if so, what did this teach you?
Mm. There are several. Um, let's start with one of my first jobs outside of college. I came to Chicago as part of a training, um, I'll say a training opportunity called Project Timothy. I came to Chicago to do youth ministry. So I came here and I was under a senior leader. This particular senior leader, Caucasian man from Ohio, but he had been doing this work for many years. So the organization was called or is called Young Life. It's mainly in suburban areas, but our focus was in urban Chicago. And the area that we were responsible for was from Austin, which is the western border of Chicago, through the middle part of the city, all the way to the lake. The area was called Chicago Central, Young Life. So I went there. He was supposed to train me. The the goal was to train for 2 years, and then I would be sent back to where I came from, which was LA. When I was in college in LA, I did some youth work in Watts. Never had stepped in an area so poor, so impoverished before. Yeah, we had poor areas where I grew up in Riverside, California, but Watts was another animal altogether. So I did some work there, small groups, a couple opportunities to work with kids. So I said, hey, I want to do this full time. Came out to Chicago, worked on this young man. I say young because he was in his 30s and I was like 22. Come here and he ends up leaving. So I inherit this ministry and I have to make it thrive, continue to do it. And the process is you raise money, you raise your own salary, you recruit your own leaders, and then you do the outreach and the service to the community through your volunteers. And fortunately for me, my first week in Chicago, I met some of the people that were going to be my volunteers. They were right in the building that we worshiped in, which was a Young Life building on the west side of Chicago, 823 South Cicero. Later, the church that worshiped there, we bought the building, and my wife was one of the volunteers. So did that ministry, um, and just seeing that, hey, they abandoned me. I'm here doing it all by myself. Um, there was a deficit. I had to scrape and scrape, and um, we worked and we did um, letter writing and special speaking engagements, etc., to erase that deficit. And once we did, they closed up that um, center. No more Young Life, no more job.
Oh no.
Uh, I looked to God and said, hey, what's next? And he opened more doors.
So, what did that circumstance, what did that teach you? Because I can imagine the feelings, but what
Mm-hmm.
did it actually teach you?
Um, Nothing's guaranteed. As a black man, you may be seen as incompetent at times, not valued, uh, someone who doesn't have the know it all or the sense that hey, this is a business. But through it all, I proved, I hope I proved to others that hey, that's not the truth. I'm able to handle finances. I'm able to raise funds. Able to create a business plan to grow the ministry, and which we did. We had more kids come than ever before. We reached out to more high schools than we ever did. We did camping trips across the country to North Carolina, to Minnesota, to Colorado, that same place where I was before, and gave kids a lot of opportunities to see a world that they never could through camping and through this organization called Young Life.
That was so needed in that area. I know where Austin is, and I've frequented out there quite a few times. And in that area, as well as other subsections of Chicago, it is those babies, those children out there, those young youth, even adults out there need to be able to see a different perspective.
Mm,
They need to see things outside of Chicago. Their horizons need to be broaden. And it's
absolutely.
so sad that that you were doing that out there and it
Yep.
stopped abruptly. Did they ever give a reason why they stopped? Because it seemed like it had a very good premise.
It had the backing. We had monthly um, donors,
Hmm.
yearly donors. They didn't see the vision. I
Okay.
mean, after we lost Jesse, you see that he had a vision.
Hmm.
After we lose great leaders, their division. That organization primarily targeted for white suburban kids did not see the vision to reach Black and Latino kids in the city of Chicago, and they gave it up.
That's so sad because it's pretty much shutting the door in regards to call a thing a thing, right? In regards to
Mm-hmm.
black potential and black life. Because I was gonna
Right.
ask you, I'm like, who was this geared directly to? And then
Yes.
it's oh my goodness. All right,
And
so here's what's coming up next on Surviving and Thriving: The Black Experience.
I'm thinking about how the Israelites in the Bible went 40 years in the wilderness because they were hard headed.
Yep.
So I'm teaching them, hey, we have to have a single focus. We're here to survive because the world doesn't want to survive. My boys, I tell them, hey, you have a target on you, target on your back that they want to take you out and fight against what the world has um, pretty much programmed you to think that, hey, you're this, you're that, you can't do this, you're unable. I said, yes, you can. You have a mind, you have strength, you have resilience, you have a focus, you have faith, you have a purpose.